Hello and welcome back to this tutorial. In this video, we are going to be looking at the basic HTML structure. So I already have a bunch of HTML codes in here in my VS Code. I'm going to just explain the very primary HTML tags so that wherever you see them on the website, you will know what they are and what they are meant for. So first of all, when you want to create a HTML file, you are going to declare this doc type. That is that this document is a HTML document. And also you are going to start it with this HTML tag and we are going to end it with the HTML tag. Now, in between these two HTML opening and closing tag here, you have other HTML tags that represent so many other things. So first of all, you have the head tag, and this is where you have the header information for that website. Okay, so when we were treating requests, I believe we saw something like request response dot header. So, and what are the header information? Well, the header information are the extra information about that website that are most of the time not seen on the screen, but they possess a crucial information about the website. And these include meta tags, the title tag, and also some links for larger websites. So for instance, you want to create an external CSS for this file, you're going to add a link tag here. And as you can see, VS Code has already completed it for me. And it says relationship is style sheet and href is now open for me to enter my href. And the href is simply the location of the CSS file. Okay, so don't bother too much about CSS. We are going to go there shortly. So, and what are these meta tags? Well, this first meta tag says character set is UTF-8, and the other one says viewport is name is viewport, content is width, and device and is set to device width, and then the initial scale is this. So this is the tag that makes your website to be responsible to automatically scale with the device that you are using. Okay, so and this character set tells your website how to encode the content of your website. Now there has been a lot of character set before, but the one that is in use now is this UTF-8, and this enables a lot of things such as emojis and some special text. So if you use something other than UTF-8, if you run if you load your website and you get an image, you might be seeing some kind of strange symbols like question mark and all that. So that is the job of this UTF-8 or this character set. Now this title tag is what appears at the top of your browser tab, and something like this my techweb.com, something like this nanocode slash techweb. So this is the title of that is the title of that website. So this header tag kind of creates a header for your website, and then in here you have the h1 tag and the p tag. So the h1 is the header one and p tag is the paragraph tag. So without further ado, I'm going to just open this with live server so that we see what this is about. So that header tag is housing this my website and a simple website, a simple HTML and CSS starter template, right? So here you have those two items. So this is housing them, and this H1 makes your text look really big and dark. So if I change that to from H1 to like H3, well, the text is going to reduce a bit. So I'm going to save and I'm going to refresh my browser. Okay, so as you can see, the live server automatically refreshes our browser page for us, and now you can see now that we have this my website really reduced. So we have other tags. We have the nav tag, and this helps you to create a navigation bar. That is the place that you go to a website and then you see all the items that are on that website. So I am going to quickly paste the styling of this website so that you can see the nav bar real quick. So here is the style of this website. So I'm going to save it. And now you have this. So this is what you call the nav bar, right? Where you have the list of items in that website. So the next thing we are going to be looking at is the UL, and this UL simply means unordered list, and it is just telling your browser that we are going to have a list of items here, and you should organize it as a list. Okay, so here we were able to list the home, about, services, and this particular div is called the div tag. So this div tag simply divides your website into segments. So I'm going to quickly go back to the browser, and you can see this place is like a division of the screen. All right, so this div is housing these two beautiful places. So you have this welcome that, and then you have the sidebar. So you have the sidebars, and that div is kind of just divided the website to look like that. Okay, the next thing that we are going to be looking at is this main tag. And what this main tag does is like it tells your browser that this is the main aspect of this website. So if I add more items to this, so I'm going to copy and paste this. So if there were so much items in here, you are going to see that this main aspect will now cover most of the website. And this aside tag is used to create a sidebar, and by the time your browser sees it, it knows that it is this the content is supposed to be aligned to the side. All right, although it will still need a little bit of styling to make it beautiful. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to look at is the footer tag, and that is where you have this copyrights, and sometimes you have some links in the footer. So and this footer usually just has a lot of information about your website, and it is the most lower part of your website. So here you can see now that here you can see that our footer is hanging, and that is because we don't have a lot of content in here. All right, so these tags are about the 10 to 15 most used HTML tags that you can get. So, and this style tag is meant to use and style your website within your HTML file. Okay, so you can also decide to create the file outside here, and you are going to call it style.css. And if you do that, you are going to just I'm going to just copy all of this style and cut it and paste it here. Okay, so this style tag will now be useless. We no longer need it for anything. So, and that is when this href will now come in, and I'm just going to write style.css. Okay, so and this href is simply asking you where is the file that we are supposed to use and apply the style for this website. So if you save this and refresh that page, you can see now that our website has gone back to just a simple sketch of what the website will look like. But if the style was there, the website will look pretty. Okay, so now I am going to link it by saying writing style.css here, and I'm going to save that style.css, and then I'll also save this HTML file again. So coming back, we have our styling back. Now, another thing that it will be important for you to know is that apart from the tags of the HTML, the HTML elements also have something we call attributes. So this meta tag has the name attribute, the content attribute, and this link style has the rel attributes, the href attribute. This links also has the href attribute, and this div has the class attributes. So what does this attributes do for you? They give your browser extra information about the tag. So we know that this is a meta tag, but what is this particular one doing? You tell it that you want to use it to set the character set for this page. Then you have another one, meta, and you are telling the browser that you want to use it and make this website responsive. So you can also have your SEO meta tags, and that will help your website to appear on the browser. Okay, what does this other attributes do? Well, this a tag is meant to create a link. So going back to this website, all of this, once you place your mouse over them, you can see now that there is a text that appears here, and it is telling you that that is a link. So if I hover on all of that text, nothing happens. All right, so and this tells you simply that these are links. All right, so now you have created a link by creating this anchor tag. So now if I pass in another anchor tag without even adding the href, so I am going to duplicate this by copying and pasting. So, and I'm going to remove this href by simply just writing this anchor tag. This automatically becomes a link. So we are going to have two contacts there now, and the both of them are links. Okay, so but this one shows like a destination and the other one shows nothing. So what does that href do for you? The href tells your link where it should take you to. All right, so the hash that you are seeing here is because there is no other url here. Okay, so but assuming I add a website URL here, like https forward slash mytechvet.com, and I go to this website on the browser now, and I hover that particular, you see now you have TechVev there. So if I click, this will automatically take me to TechVev, right? So what you have as your href attribute is where the particular page or the particular website that this link is supposed to take you to. So when you have just this hash, you simply says take me to nowhere, or when this link is clicked, just remain on this page. All right. So the attribute here, href, tells the browser the extra information that they need about your website or the particular tag that they are used on. Okay, so let's look at this class attribute. And this class attribute is used for styling. So assuming I have two divs that are exact, so I'm going to duplicate this div now. Yeah, so I'm going to save this, and if you come here and refresh this page, you can now see that we have two of that. So and this second div is taking the exact style of this thing because it has the same class. So if I remove this class, this div will not know exactly the style to take, right? So as you can see, the style has been tampered with. So the this class enables you to classify your HTML elements and apply the same style to all of them, right? So I am going to just enter that container and I'm going to save. And on going back, we have our styling back. Okay, so I hope you understand some of these HTML tags and the attributes. And I hope that when you see them on your website, you will remember what they mean. So you see this H2 tag is also like H1, but it makes the text smaller. And the P tag is a paragraph tag. Okay, so I believe we have covered all the basic HTML tags that we need to touch. And if we see other ones on our browser, we will talk more about them. All right. So for now, we are going to move on to our web scraping. And thank you so much for watching this video. See you in the next one.